Mazi, you'll be out soon, man. Mazi, be strong.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, depending from where you hear my voice from. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have been kept abreast of the protests that have been going on. I hope you are aware of every intrigue that was involved in that protest. I hope you all saw how, unfortunately, the Nigerian police that should have protected its citizens, especially people who applied for a peaceful protest, were unfortunately being attacked with live bullets and tear gas. I mean, the Nigerian police that should have protected its citizens were the ones who are now attacking the citizens brazenly in the open media. I mean, the Nigerian police has acted in a manner that depicted them as one of the worst police groups in the world. In fact, a lot of international reports came in, writers came in, confirming that the Nigerian police was indeed a sham, the most undemocratic, the most unpatriotic, and the most terrible, misbehaved police forces in the world. I mean, here were people who were making a very peaceful protest, coming up to say, look, this man has not done any wrong. Several courts of the land have acquitted him of any charges. Why are you still holding Nnamdi Kanu? Why are you still trying him? Why is he still in the DSS detention back to back for the past close to 5 years? And this is what these protesters, led by Omoyele Sowore, and the host of other well-meaning patriotic Nigerians. This was what freedom fighters were all protesting about. What was the reaction of the government? What was the reaction of the police force? Of course, they sent policemen who were, geared, attired in high combat uniforms, shooting tear gas and live bullets, on people who were peacefully protesting and articulating their demands. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very big blow, and a very, shameful remark in Nigeria's political history that in 2025, Nigerian government would unleash live bullets and tear gas on peaceful protesters, all because, of course, they know the person behind the reason for the protest was a Biafran man, an Igbo man, the man that the Igbos regard as their, own maximum leader, Nnamdi Kanu. Ladies and gentlemen, it has become very glaring that all the while when Nnamdi Kanu was talking about the marginalization of the Igbo people, the Biafran people, it has become very glaring that when he said the Biafrans were not needed, were not wanted, and were deliberately being frustrated from being a part and parcel of a united Nigeria, it has become obvious that even the government of BAT and the rest of them have fully compromised, deliberately orchestrated this marginalization, this wicked infamy against the Biafran people. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you consider a people who are having a normal, democratically accepted, protest, duly notifying the government of their protest, duly notifying the police, getting their approval, were unfortunately attacked brutally, victimized, shot at with tear gas and live bullet. A lot of people were maimed, a lot were wounded, and several eminent personalities, including Chief Aloy Ejimako, the late counsel of Nnamdi Kanu, and Nnamdi Kanu's younger brother, Prince Kanu, were very much, viciously attacked and wounded, and eventually were arrested. Today, they are the Kuje prison in Abuja awaiting trial because, of course, the dead They dared. They dared the authorities. They dared to, you know, orchestrate a peaceful protest for Manzan Nnamdi Kanu, who is being held against court judgments. I mean, more than three courts of the land, high courts for that matter, have clearly, freely acquitted him. But of course, the federal government under the late PMB rushed to the Supreme Court, and of course, they compromised the judiciary to continue to torment and to continue to try and mistry Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess that it's a very bitter pill for a lot of us to swallow because it has become very, very clear. It's no longer a secret that the Igbo man, the Biafra man, is an endangered species in this land called Nigeria. I mean, everything concerning him has been blown out of proportion. Everything concerning him meets with a very, very vigorous and untoward consequences. While, of course, people from the other tribes, people from the other regions are treated with kid gloves. I mean, you can imagine Boko Haram terrorists terrorizing the whole of the northeast, the north central, killing and maiming, raping, harvesting bodies and kidnapping, collecting huge ransoms. And yet when they are caught, the same country, in the same law, the same government will treat them with kid gloves. Tell the whole world they have, been spoken with, they have decanted, and of course, they have shown remorse. These people are immediately given financial rewards and eventually rehabilitated into the Nigerian country, the Nigerian military. Really a shame indeed, really a shame. Yeah, it's a very big shame, very, very disturbing and normal indeed. And of course, that's what makes me want to do this audio today. I want to tell us that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu resumed the court today. And I want to tell us that as soon as he came in, the judge asked him where are his lawyers? Because of course, in case you don't know, Chief Kanu Agabi, two-time Attorney General of this country and Minister for Justice, have resigned as Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's counsel. Of course, a whole lot of other sons have all declined to render their services. Of course, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is now standing without a lawyer, all because the whole lot of them felt that what is happening currently is a sham. They could not imagine that the government has failed, to act honorably, to act, decently by resolving Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case politically, resolving it without the recourse to the law courts. Because, of course, everything done in the law courts is a complete yes, if you like, is a mockery of the judicial system. We cannot imagine why three high courts of this land has acquitted this man and told him to go home, you have no case to answer. And yet, the Nigerian judiciary and court system is still holding him, is still trying him, is still keeping him in the human dungeon of the DSS. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think this is not enough to provoke a revolution, if you think this wickedness and apathy against the Igbos is not enough for them to take to the streets, then I don't know what else you want the Igbos to do. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu came into the court, and of course he told Justice James Omoyele Sowore, listen, sir, with all due respect, I don't have any lawyer. I'm going to represent myself. It is apparent that none of my lawyers are here. You have arrested my lawyer, Aloysius Ejimako. My younger brother is in detention. I don't know where they are. And of course, all my other lawyers fear for their lives because it has become obvious that Nigeria is out on a vendetta. There seems to be a ploy to detain, to criminalize, and to find me guilty at all cost. There seems to be a deliberate attempt to convict me at all cost. And unfortunately, these lawyers, these sons, these legal generals feel that no, they are too big. They are too big. Their reputations are too high for them to be treated with such, infamy and neglect. No, you don't treat a former Attorney General of the Federation, Chief Kanu Agabi. You don't treat a former two-time minister of this country. You don't treat him with such levity. You don't treat him with such disgrace when he's representing somebody like me, Nnamdi Kanu, who is a peaceful protester who dared because I told the authorities enough is enough. I dared the powers that be. I told them the Igbos have suffered enough. The Biafrans have suffered enough. If you think they shouldn't be part of your country, you should let them go. I dared to tell the government that if you don't want to let my people go, of course we'll make the Southeast ungovernable. Yes, those were my rhetorics. Yes, that was the things I said. I have no regret saying them. If you ask me again, I will say them again. Because every Biafra life matter. Biafra lives matter. Biafra lives matter. And of course, they should be allowed to breathe freely. Biafra should be allowed to breathe and breathe freely. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, attended court today, of course, in the High Court of Justice James Kolawole Omotosho. Of course, he was met there. Take it or leave it, he was met there by none other than the activist Omoyele Sowore. And this was the very first time Omoyele Sowore was meeting with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And I dare to tell you, it was an ecstatic moment, highly exciting moment for the activist Omoyele Sowore, because he came out all out to say, look, he brought out a video, and he said in that video, he said, Kanu is saying greeting and hugging Sowore warmly. Two of them hugged, they greeted themselves, and Sowore was ecstatic. He was in a very, very sober mood and excited because he felt, this man, so you are the one, just this man, this peaceful man, this man who looks like he couldn't hurt a fly. Why is the federal government of Nigeria adamant, yes? Why are they insisting on convicting you? Why do they want to destroy you? Why do the leaders of the Southeast don't want you to be released? Why are people like Professor Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra State? Why are people like David Umahi, the minister for works? Why are people like Joey Wekwe, who calls himself a seasoned politician and the stalwart of the APC? Why are these people, Hope Uzodinma Imo State, why are these people suddenly, unfortunately, afraid that you will be released? Why are they jittery? Why are they panicking? Yes, Omoyele Sowore, human rights activist and human rights crusader, said he's perplexed, totally confused. He's highly flabbergasted by the fact that leaders of the Southeast, political leaders, senators, Ojo Kalu and go, why are they jittery? Why are they panicky every time your case is mentioned? Why are leaders in the Southeast always hobnobbing with a Milokon, telling him that if you are released, you cause trouble, you make mayhem break in the Southeast, you make life ungovernable for them? Why are people afraid of you, Nnamdi Kanu? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Omoyele Sowore wrote about, was Nasi met Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He wrote, quote, finally, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and I met at the Federal High Court today. The man is powerful and unrelenting. We greeted and hugged, and the bond is strong. Hashtag free Nnamdi Kanu now, unquote. Earlier on Monday, Sowore had led Kanu's lawyer, a lawyer Jumako, and his brother Prince Emmanuel to a hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu protest in Abuja. The demonstration was dispersed by police who arrested Jumako, Prince Emmanuel, and other participants. They were arraigned before a magistrate court in Kuje and remanded in Kuje prison. Meanwhile, Kanu has indicated his intention to defend himself before the Justice James Omotosho-led court on terrorism-related charges, following the withdrawal of his lead counsel, Kanu Agabe, from the trial. Kanu has been in detention since 2021 after being rearrested in Kenya and subjected to extraordinary rendition back to Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Omoyele Sowore says, I'm happy, indeed, highly, mighty glad to meet Mazen Nnamdi Kanu live and in person. I thank God I didn't read about his death. I thank God I didn't hear he has gone. I thank God I met him live and direct. And this meeting, I tell you, will be remembered perpetually in my heart. Omoyele Sowore said, it is indeed a great thing, a great thing for me to participate. I'm highly humbled, highly encouraged, motivated to participate in your protest. Protest, hashtag, free Nnamdi Kanu now, protest. I'm happy to be the convener. I didn't meet this man before, but now that I've met him, I'm even much more encouraged, motivated. I want to fight till my last blood drop for this quiet, eloquent, and relentless, peaceful crusader who has every right and yes, he has constitutionally, inalienable right to speak about the plight of his people, the Biafrans. Yes, the Biafrans have been maltreated. Yes, the Igbos are subjugated in Nigeria. Yes, the Igbos are treated like a defeated people. Omoyele went on to say that, I can't imagine that General Gowon is alive today and he's seeing what is happening to the Igbos and he's keeping quiet. How can he be talking of pray for Nigeria? He says it born again. This is what you started. This is what you planned. And here today, Igbos are suffering. After you declared in 1970, after the war, after the genocide of 1966, 67, 68, 69, 70, how could you come out in 1970? You, General Gowon, thank God you're alive today. You said there was no victor, no vanquished. You said nobody was defeated. Nobody was vanquished. And you came and proposed the 3 R's. You said you are going to rehabilitate the people after the war. You said you're going to reconstruct damaged facilities and environment. And then you said you're going to reintegrate the Igbos into full-fledged Nigeria without qualms, without any fear or favor, without any encumbrances. That was what Gowon said. But we were all shocked. Most of us who read it, we were young then, possibly not born, but we read how, fortunately, this man who talked about no victor, no vanquished, we were shocked when General Gowon came out. This time, what did he do? He gifted the Igbo people who had come out from over 3 years war with the Nigerian authorities. People who had billions in their account, millions in their account, people who were captains of industries were given a miserable, paltry, shameful 20 pounds. What could 20 pounds buy for them? What was the exchange of 20 pounds then? What could it do for them? Except, of course, to carry them until they died or they became beggars. Omoyele Sowore said, General Gowon should hide his face in shame. Orchestrating this kind of wickedness, this infamy. Yes, finally plotting to nail the coffin of the Biafrans, to crucify them when you have already declared that the war was a case of no victor, no vanquished. When you said you have proposed the 3 R's, where you intended to make the Igbos come back, reintegrate them, rehabilitate them, and reconstruct their territories. What did you give them? 20 pounds. What else did you do? All the properties they abandoned, all the properties they fled from to go and secure their lives in their remote villages. What did you do to them? Of course, indigenization policy was, pronounced and, announced and implemented. And of course, the properties of the Igbo people were shared among localities, in areas, in regions where they once lived and thrived as successful business people. Omoyele Sowore said, this is the highest level of wickedness. This is government's inhumanity to its citizens. How can you treat the Igbo people like they don't belong? How can you treat them like they're not part and parcel of Nigeria, and yet you expect them to be obedient, to be law-abiding, and to listen to you? No way. Omoyele Sowore said, I am happy and I'm proud to be the convener of this hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu protest now. And no matter what the government is doing, no matter how many live bullets the police are shooting up, no matter all their tear gas, we will continue this effort, we will continue this struggle until Nnamdi Kanu is released freely and fairly. He's not a convict, and he has not been convicted of any crime. He has no case to answer. He doesn't need a lawyer anymore. The same Omoyele Sowore said, release Laisu Sejumako, his lawyer, release Mazen and his younger brother, and all those people arrested. They have a right to peaceful protest. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has come back to the court today under Justice James Omotosho. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho once again. But this time he came alone. When Justice James told him, where are your lawyers? He told him bluntly, I don't have any lawyer anymore. Nigeria have intimidated my lawyers. They have treated personalities, sons, people like two-time Attorney General with disrespect. They have continued to harass and intimidate my people. They have arrested my brother and my lawyer, Aloysius Ejimakor, put them in prisons awaiting trial because they dared to lead a peaceful protest. I'm here to defend myself, and I will defend myself to the very end because I know I'm an innocent man. I know I have no case to answer. I know 3 different courts have fully discharged and acquitted me. Your Honor, Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, I will represent myself henceforth.
James Omotosho was really, really, shocked and terribly amazed at this. He was flabbergasted. And they suggested once again to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, don't you think we should appoint a lawyer for you? If you don't have a lawyer, can we appoint for you? Mazen Nnamdi Kanu equally and once again resolutely said, I don't need any lawyer. I am quite capable of defending myself. I know I have done no wrong, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can intimidate me. Ladies and gentlemen, Omoyele, Sowore, the convener of the hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protest, has finally met Nnamdi Kanu in blood and in flesh, right at the, Federal High Court at Abuja, under the auspices, under the umpireship, under the judgeship of Justice James Kolawole Omotosho. They hug themselves, despite the chains and shackles on Nnamdi Kanu's feet. They hug themselves, they embrace themselves, and of course, Sowore took pictures and said, I will keep these pictures for life. You are a leader of the people. You are a peaceful protester. You are a campaigner for the realization of justice, equity, and fairness for your people. Nothing can contradict you. I will stand beside you till the very end. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm impressed. This is a Yoruba man. I'm impressed. This is somebody who is not from Biafra extraction. This is a man who is fighting because he believes. He's protesting because he believes Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is doing the right thing, has done the right thing, has said the right words. The only offense that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did, or he seemed to have done, was because he dared. He dared to tell the truth to Nigerian political leaders. He dared to tell the truth to the authorities in Nigeria. And it's for that truth that people like late President Mohamed Buhari, and now this current Emilio Conte Jagaban, have decided that he must remain in the DSS dungeon and continue to suffer all kinds of indignities and wickedness against his person. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's health is deteriorating speedily. Omoyele looked at him and said, brother, you're sick. This is not you, the same person I used to see in those pictures. You're sick, but I want to assure you, delay is not denial. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, we know victory is very much around the corner. Never give up. I am a Yoruba man. My Yoruba people are behind you. You can see that Atiku Abubakar in recent times has come behind you, carrying all the house with him. The truth of the matter is that your campaign is no longer just for Biafra alone. Your campaign, it affects every Nigerian, because we can now see the level of injustice being perpetrated against the Igbo people. We can now see that there's a deliberate policy to frustrate, to annihilate, and to completely genocide the Igbo people. We know that there are two justice systems in Nigeria. The one for the Christians, which is very heavy, which is very, very terrible, and the ones for the Hausa Fulani jihadists who are treated with kid gloves. We know all these things, and we know this is the right time to talk about them. The time to campaign against them is now. The time to protest against these injustices is now. And so everybody hearing my voice, Omoyele Sowore said, everybody hearing my voice, join me in the protest. The protest is still ongoing. We're still here at Abuja. We're still everywhere. He said it right at the court, and they told Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, go ahead. We are with you. This protest will not die. Will not stop until you regain your freedom, unconditional freedom. Of course, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu laughed in his usual way, embraced Omoyele Sowore, despite the chains in his hands, despite the shackles on his feet. He embraced him and called him soul brother. You, Omoyele Sowore, I'm a soul brother, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I believe and I hope I will see you again. Maybe that time without chains on my hands, maybe without shackles on my feet. Maybe by then I'll be a free man. I believe so, because I serve a living God. I know what I did was nothing but peaceful protest, nothing but create a peaceful awareness of the plight of my people, the Biafran people. Ladies and gentlemen, the matters are getting escalated. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's health is deteriorating. The government is insisting on continuing the trial. They want him to plead guilty or not guilty so that they can continue the trial. They have said no to no case trial. They have said no, and because of that, because of jettisoning the submissions of great personalities like Chief Kanu Agabi, two-time Minister for Justice, two-time Attorney General of Nigeria, because they didn't listen to such wise men and wise counsels. They didn't listen to submissions of several sons who stood for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. They have arrested Aloysius Ejimakor, his lead lawyer. They have arrested his younger brother, Prince Emmanuel. Because of all this, all the lawyers have withdrawn their services for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, sick, yes, unhappy, yes, health deteriorating, yes, but he is still insistent that he will not give up. He will represent himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it calls for our prayers, it calls for our support at this time, it calls for our encouragement. We must not let this man die. We must not let his efforts be in vain. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu must be encouraged, must be motivated, must be supported to overcome the wickedness, the infamy, and this senseless, clueless government of the Nigerian people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause it here until I come your way again. God bless you as you continue to support the Redeclared United States of Biafra. God bless you as you continue to listen to us. God bless you as you continue to support the hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protest. God bless you as you continue to support and motivate Dr. Ngozi Arabueze while she navigates the powers that be, what it takes at the Redeclared United States of Biafra. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you after this point. God bless you all.